What's up, baby? What's up, everybody? Welcome. YourFieldChoice.com daily hit and run show at a special time today, 12 o'clock Eastern time. I got to guess. I'm no longer sold today. Gervais from YFC, the architect of our famous YFC cheat sheet. He's one of our wagering guys. Very successful history of wagering. So I have somebody to talk to today. Gervais, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here. Let's win some money.
Yeah, Gervais is actually the architect behind Your Field Choice. Actually, when we change sites, so he's the man. He's the brains behind all this. He's the brains behind the cheat sheet. And today we're actually going to be using our cheat sheet. I don't use it much when I do solo. I'm just not coordinated mentally enough to do all that switching back and forth. But Gervais on today. He's going to show you what our cheat sheet's about. I still think it's one of the best in the industry. It's got everything you need on one sheet. It's got the ownership, stats, advanced metrics, and all that. So we'll get into that as we go on to the batters. But first of all, once again, welcome to FieldChoice.com. $25 a month. That includes all sports. And it's a really good deal you want to get on now because within, 2 or 3 weeks, we got college football starting, which is one of our flagship sports. NFL starting, of course. NFL last night. We crushed last night, NFL preseason. If you go in our free winning lineup room, we had a lot of guys crushed. I crushed some really high scores in football. In football. We had a soccer show this morning, so check that out. That's on demand right now. EPL soccer for tomorrow. Adam and Riley did a show on that. Two very good DFS soccer players. So check that out. And then today's baseball. Big slate. 14 games. I think it's 14 games. A lot to get through.
13, I think.
13. But we're not going to hit every single play. We'll be here forever. We're going to try to highlight the main plays. Get you guys out of there. Anybody that's here watching live, throw your comments in. Make it a lot easier. If you like something I'm saying, if you dislike something, don't agree, throw it out there. We can argue about it. That makes this fun. So let's get right into it. Right now, first of all, there's no weather tonight. I don't see any weather issues. A couple wind games, but nothing to even worry about weather. So we're going to have all 13 games. And quickly, what I usually do is look at Vegas implied runs, core slate, a couple big stud pitchers, and cores. So we do have to talk about that. We know it's a core slate. So of course the Rockies 6.4 runs implied, the highest team implied run score on the slate, the Rockies. And then we got Arizona. Arizona's playing the Rockies, 2 gas can pitchers, 5.9. And then we got a bunch of other teams near 6. We got the Padres, the Astros, and the Dodgers. So Dodgers, Astros, Padres, D-backs, and Rockies are the main teams we're looking at with bats. Core slate on the money line. And tell me if there's anybody you're interested here. The Luis Garcia minus 335 is the biggest favorite on the slate. Huge favorite over Oakland. It's in Houston, though. It's not in the Coliseum. So it's not in that big cavernous stadium. But then beside that, San Francisco, Carlos Rodon, minus 275, big favorite. The Padres, Mike Clevenger, minus 250, big favorite. The Dodgers, minus 245, Tony Gonsolin. And this slate is stacked with some upper-tier pitchers. And then we get the White Sox, minus 220, Michael Kopech, who I think is garbage right now. And then you got Mad Max at minus 215 against the Phillies. Big series start in there without Kyle Schwarber, who I think was his elbow. I can't remember, a thigh, something. But Kyle Schwarber's probably going to be out at least tonight. Big plus to Mad Max and the Mets. So that's pretty much Vegas. Is there anybody is there any bets you're seeing right now that are jumping out at you?
When I went through looking at BVP and things like that, obviously, Coors looks good. I think you could look at the over at Coors. It's at 12.
It's at 12 point. I have 12.5, but this.
It's moving. It's moving between 12.5 and 12.
All right.
But they just played the Cardinals and they went over the 12.5 every game. So obviously the Diamondbacks are not the Cardinals, but BVP wise, a lot of the Diamondbacks look good off Senzatella. So I think you can look there. And then I was also looking at, I really liked maybe the Jays over as well. So Barrios and Quantrell. Quantrell, I think he's just looking at really quickly. I looked at it earlier. He's a every time he starts, he hits the over pretty much. So I think it's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of 12 overs when Quantrill starts. Actually, cool stat I saw the other day. The Indians, Quantrill has the most run support in the league. So every time he pitches, I think it's like almost close to 5-6 runs the Indians score every time he pitches. So, or Guardians rather. But
interesting stat, actually. I've seen it. I have it now. I have opening at 9 and now at 8.5. Once again, different books out there, but that's a nice call. Nice call.
Yeah, so I'm looking at those two right now. I mean, it'll change throughout the day, but those are the two that stick out right now.
All right, cool. So we're looking at Jays, Guardians, and then the Coors game. I always think though that Coors first game. I know a lot of it may be old wives' tale, but you do seem to see it a lot. A lot of that first game hiccups, and then all of a sudden they explode like games 2 and 3. And it is the Snakes, so you never know what you're going to get with Arizona. But they're going against Sensatella, who's a gas can. So 2 gas can pitchers in that game. Could be a lot of fireworks tonight. But so that takes us right into pitching, and I think tonight this is a really good upper tier pitching slate. But once we get down below, I don't know, say like mid 8s, there's a lot of trash. I'm only looking at maybe 1 or 2 pitchers I'm even interested in lower tier. So if you want, you can. Do we have ownership up yet on our cheat sheet? We have some projected.
Oh yeah, we
ownership, right?
Let me throw that up.
I'm curious to see, because right now what I'm looking at, I'm going to try to get Mad Max Scherzer and Rodon together in cash. Now that's a lot of money. We're looking at over $21,000. That's big time bucks, but they're by far, both of these guys are the class of the slate. I mean, Max's match. I mean, he's been lights out. He's striking out 32% clip. He's only walking like 4%, sub 2 ERA, big favor against the Phillies. It's gonna be tough to roster him with Coors, but I think you need to roster Max. And then I'm gonna try to get the Carlos Rodon. And Rodon has had a little bit of hiccup there a few weeks ago, but now Rodon's got a better matchup than Max. He gets the Pirates. The Pirates strike out a ton against left-handed pitching. They have very little pop from the right side. Big home favorite, major strikeout upside. So I'm looking at Max and Rodon and DK.
Yeah, just really quickly on Rodon, if you take a look at our cheat sheet here, based on the opponent strikeout rate, the Pirates are actually at the top. So, ideally when you're looking here at our cheat sheet, you want to look at, okay, who has a high K rate in terms of pitching, and then you also want to make sure you correlate that with the opponent K percentage here. So the Pirates are at the top, and then Rodon is also near the top in terms of strikeout rate. So that would probably be a good play. And judging by the ownership, 36% right now. Obviously, this is going to change, but you're right on there with Scherzer and Rodon.
So you got some decisions to make too on FanDuel. On DK, I'm going to try to roll them out. Hopefully, you should be able to find that value on a 13-game slate. On FanDuel, though, a little bit tougher deciding on Rodon or Max. Which is there a certain lead you're looking at? I mean, to me, I always go Max. I just like if I'm that type of guy, if I'm in a battle and the end of the world, you want one guy on your side. I always say, beside my wife, it's Mad Max. He's just that type of pitcher. But Rodon is having a hell of a season too. Where would you go when gun to your head, you got to roll out one pitcher for FanDuel, Max or Rodon?
I think you have to go Max, right? I mean, although Rodon's versus the Pirates, it's Scherzer. He's been great all year.
Right.
You're going to get a consistent, 15, 20, 30 fantasy points from him. So.
It is a tough matchup, though. You got to say it. But it's a Schwarber less Phillies, I'm assuming. But and Max will give up a bomb or two. You may see JT hit one out, or Hoskins or something, or this Hall kid. But I also agree. But I'm not gonna argue or try to push anybody off Rodon if they want Rodon on FanDuel. Either way, I think you're in good shape. On FanDuel, you run one of these two. DK, if you can, you get both of them. So Now, say GBPs, you want to stack up the Coors game, you want to stack up the Jays or these Dodgers. Where else can we go? There's a bunch of ways. So I'm not going to name every damn pitcher on this slate, but I did some research last night. I was on some shows last night. A couple guys I'm really interested in. Tyler Mahle. Since he came over from Cincinnati, Mahle's he's no longer in Great American Small Park. He's in Minnesota. The main thing is he's facing up against the Angels right now, one of the worst strikeout teams in baseball, 25% strikeout rate. His Mahle strikeout rates are down. I'm imagine that's on the cheat sheet too. These are 2022 numbers just directly, right? Not just straight 2022 season, right?
Yeah.
That's okay.
He's still at 29, which isn't bad by any means.
Right. Good spot. I mean, since last month, 44% ground ball rate for the Angels. Said high strikeout rate. I like Mahle, 8.5. I could definitely go at like a max Mahle lineup. I like him. Mike Clevinger. I think even though the Nationals aren't striking out much, we pick on the Nationals a lot. I think Clevinger's a good spot. They're just. I mean, he's had his last two games were big games for Clevinger, I believe. His last two games, I know he had that one blow up game, and I think his last two have been fine. The Dodgers he struggled. He gave up 5 earned runs, but then in Colorado he did fine at home. Did fine against Detroit, fine against Arizona, and then at Coors he got beat up. So I like Mahle over Clevinger. I think when it comes down to it. But there are two other favorites I like. Luis Garcia is going to get a little bit of love. I think he's a little bit high on DK, more of a FanDuel play. So I guess on FanDuel, I like Garcia over Mahle. On DK, Mahle over Garcia. Because we just saw he's a huge favorite at home, over -300. Nice matchup against Oakland. We pick out Oakland. It's a AAA team pretty much. And other than Big Seth Brown, there aren't any other lefties in there that can really hurt Garcia. So I like Garcia tonight, more of a GPP play, but he may come in a little bit lesser owned with all these studs on a slate like Rodon, Max, Tony Gonsolin, who's had a great year. He's come down a little bit. Guys, anybody else you're seeing up in that? I have one other guy down below I like, but anybody else you're seeing up there that maybe sneaky? Lauer, Kirby, Corey Kluber.
I mean, I guess Kopech, just based on the stats.
Kopech's a good matchup. I agree. I just think he's broken. He's really he started out really good, right? And he's struggling. I think he had a decent game against Kansas City, but against Texas he struggled. But yeah, great matchup, right?
Yeah, it's a good matchup versus Detroit. K rate highest on slate, I think, and then Detroit strikes out a lot, so they strike out the third most on the slate.
Low ISO,
and a lot of ownership too. He's third highest right now, and that's probably because of his price, right? He's 7,100. So
wait, who did you say?
Still talking about.
Okay. Definitely great spot. I just feel like he actually faced the Tigers as almost a month ago on the 10th. I just had that up, and he had like a decent game, nothing great, but I don't know, I still feel there's something is not right with Kopech. I believe most other organizations that's not La Russa or the White Sox would have had him shut down by now. So on the 10th, he struck out 4 over 82 pitches, 5 innings, no decision. They did win 4-2, and that was a month ago. And that was actually when he's been like a 10 to 15 point pitcher, which isn't bad at that price, I guess, 7,100. So I can dig him. Kirby, I think Kirby's not bad, but he's expensive. So GBP only. Eric Lauer, and I'm not messing with Lauer against St. Louis. But here's one. I'm interested in 2 guys. Jordan Montgomery, mainly because of his price, 6.8. Now, Milwaukee right now, and of course, I just had the stats up. Milwaukee, like in the last month, Milwaukee has been terrible against lefties. One of the highest strikeout rates in baseball against lefties, like in the last month. and they're still striking out. Like what is the cheat she had, Matt, on the season? Heavy pitcher friendly park. He's got a K rate of 26% on the season. That's that's Milwaukee.
Yeah, so this is Milwaukee
striking out.
6%. Yep.
Great spot for JMO. He's kind of pitching with a little bit of chip on his shoulder after the Yankees dealt him. And really, I mean, I was reading a lot about him yesterday, and he's got a big issue right now with the Yankees because, you know, it was a year ahead of his final year of arbitration. They could have waited for the season to end to do this. His fiance was on her last semester, I guess, for med school to get a med school degree. And she'd already made all these plans. And this came out of a total blue for JMO. Nobody thought this was going to happen. They didn't think it was going to be traded. And he actually showed it last week. And he actually burned the Yankees last week. And really, actually, him and German, who's my other pitcher I kind of like, him and German pitched a really good game last week. I think German is really cheap too. It's in Fenway against the Red Sox. He can get bombed. But let me see. His first 2 starts, he gave up 7 runs in 7 innings. But his last 2, only 3 runs, 10 innings, last 2 starts. So German is trending in the right direction. The Red Sox aren't the team that we all thought they were. It's in Fenway still, though. But what's up, James Grande? GPP only, but I could see German throwing a pretty good game here in Fenway.
Yeah, and just to go back to the Montgomery thing, the Brewers are 23rd in WOBA against lefties this year. So that's pretty bad.
And they've actually been worse the last 2 weeks too. So the Brewers have actually all of a sudden become just a total trash team all of a sudden. So I think JMO's in a great spot. Plus it's in Busch Pitcher Stadium, all that. I'm not sure there's anybody else I'm missing. I'm not sure there's anybody else you like. We mentioned Clevenger, Garcia as a GPP, Mad Max.
No, not really. I mean, you mentioned Male, who I think should be okay. Kopech, I think, is okay as well. Kirby.
Voss name's popping a little bit.
All of these guys are really high price. Like Garcia is always good too because he'll strike out a lot, but he gives up a lot of homers. So I mean, I don't know about him.
GPP, I would say
should be fine, but that price is really high. So I mean, it's a huge slate. Like you have a lot of options. I think you definitely plug either Rodon or Scherzer, and then try to fill in with one of those value guys that you liked, like Male or Montgomery or Kopech.
And for cash, I'm gonna try to make a lineup with Rodon, Scherzer, and see where I get. One more name is his name's been popped as I was running some projections as we we're talking. Austin Voss been popping a little bit for Baltimore. Now, before people laugh, they go on the Trop, total pitchers park. I think it's probably the number 1 or number 2 most friendly pitchers park on the slate. Tampa Bay's striking out against righties. I have like 25%. Last 2 games, I mean, Cincinnati at Great America Small Park, 21 DK points, not bad. Pittsburgh, he threw 15, but once again, it's a 6K pitcher. I'll take 15, 16 points for a 6K pitcher for Austin Voth. Tampa Bay, though, they could lay down on you, or they could also come up and thump you. But I think he's another little bit of a wild card. GPP only, but I wouldn't mind throwing him in if I'm multi-entering a bunch of pitchers. Beside that, though, there's some trash here. I mean, Daniel Norris is straight trash. He shouldn't even be in the league anymore. Adam Oler, we'll get to Oler in a second. Oler just gets totally crushed by left-handed bats. That's why we're going to like Tucker. We're going to like your dog tonight. So I guess it is Josh Spores. We had earlier we thought it was Kushel. Zach Davies, terrible. Daniel Lynch, terrible. You throw a couple of stats on Quantrill, though, for some betting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's a kind of for 13 games, it's kind of a condensed pitching slate. It's all up top. It's all top heavy. We're not going down much beside J-Mo and German for me. I think that's pretty much it down there. And some Tyler Mollab. He's more of a mid-price guy. All right, that's pitching. Unless you have anything else to throw in there?
No, not at all.
All right, so let's move on then. We'll go through some batters. I know you got some BVP data. A couple guys jumped out at me also. What we're gonna do is go through. Let's get the cheat sheet up. We'll start with catchers. Let me know I actually have my eye on another screen at catcher. Is there anybody jumping out ownership wise? Because right away I'm looking at Yasmani Grandal. I like Grandal a lot in this spot at 3,500 against Daniel Norris. Grandal is finally hitting since he came off the IL. He finally came back. He's hitting 370 over the last 20 games. He's hitting 300. Great spot, great advanced metrics, I think, in this spot here. So I like Grandal is one of my favorite plays, and he's cheap at, of course, now I just lost him, but he's like mid threes, right? So Grandal is one of my top plays at catcher.
3,500 for Grandal.
What do we? Is anybody running and jumping out ownership, anything like that? I mean, you worry about
ownership. I mean, it's early, but Carson Kelly is getting some ownership, and
because of Coors.
Because that was actually, I mean, it's one of the guys I wrote down for BVP, but normally I only write down guys that are actually hot at the moment. He's not really hot right now, but he is 5 for 11 off of Sensatella with 3 extra base hits. So,
he did have that really good series of Coors there a few weeks ago. I know he hit a couple bombs. That's also he's like 2,200.
He's hitting like 455 off Sensatella, 3 extra base hits, and then he's getting, like 13% on the cheat sheet right now, which is third highest.
All right, so he's going to catch some love. And I like now. If it was a lefty, I'd be all over. I'd be saying Carson Kelly's my top play at catcher, but it's a righty. Kelly's much better platoon hitter. He's there. Kirk, who's actually back hitting again now. I love that price on Kirk, 4-4 against Contrail. Don't mind him. Will Smith, though, I just can't see paying $5K for Will Smith when you're trying to get Max and Rodon. Great matchup though against Daniel Lynch, the lefty. They're all in play. I think we paid down at catch tonight if we want to get the 2 stud pitchers, and I think Grandal at 3.5 is like my favorite play, unless I'm going to go all the way down to maybe like a Brian Serven gets to start today. He's only 2.9, something like that. But that's getting close to Grandal. I like Grandal a lot today, man. It's my guy.
Yeah, I think you would say Grandal is probably your top play. I mean, he hit a home run yesterday, right? Yeah, he homered yesterday.
He's rolling now.
I like the guys that homered the day before. Like that tells you that they're seeing the ball well and things like that. So, and you already liked him. So yeah, he homered yesterday, 3,500. That looks pretty decent. There's not much here. I mean, Kelly, Paul, Kirk, Serven. I mean,
Kirk's always good.
Go other than that.
That means we move on. We move on to first base, right? James, who's watching, we don't like talking about catchers. Catchers are trash in DFS. So first base is loaded, and right away, my top play. I don't care if it's Coors or not, because we do have a couple. I know we have some BBP plays here, a Coors play, but Jose Abreu. He is one of my. The more I dug in on Abreu today, Abreu was probably one of my top play. Abreu and Luis Robert, but Abreu is in a smash spot today. 231 ISO, 375 bulb against Southpaws, 44% hard contact, going up against Daniel Norris. Now, Daniel Norris against righties. Daniel Norris has got 3 main pitches against righties: a fastball, a slider, and changeup. That's it. He only throws 3 pitches, those 3 pitches. Abreu crushes all 3 of those pitches. The fastball, 296 ISO, a 412 on a slider, and I think like a 490 ISO on that changeup. Abreu's in a crush spot today against Norris, and I think he's got a BVP too.
Yeah, he does. So 455, 10 for 22, 455 off of Norris. BVP too. I did write that because I actually bet the White Sox yesterday. Unfortunately, they suck. I mean, I don't know. They cannot hit with runners in scoring position.
They're very tilting, especially when you play them.
They had 2 on, no outs, didn't score a run. They had bases loaded, no outs for Eloy, and Abreu didn't score. So I wrote that he's pretty cold. He's K'd He's K'd at least twice in 3 straight games. He has got no RBIs in 8 straight games.
So you're talking me off of Abreu.
But he does have 7 hits across his last 5 games. So he's hitting, he's just not getting the timely hits that he needs, I guess.
No, you're right. 240 over the last week. So if we don't go to Abreu, I think he's probably going to be popular, though. This is probably the chalky play. Well, I'm not sure what the cheat sheet is showing us for ownership. Christian Walker, 12.5 implied. Walker's got a lot of home runs this season. People don't realize how many home runs he's got. 26, 11% walk rate, nice OPS, almost 800. He's 100 points off his BABIP this year. So I like Walker, but I think he's probably going to be popular.
Yeah, what's
BVP?
He's got 13% right now, which is the second highest on the slate. And BVP wise, he's got the top BVP on the slate. He's 13 for 25 off Senzatella, so 520 average. He's got 6 extra base hits and 25 plate appearances off Senzatella, including 2 homers. He has a 6-game hitting streak, and he's got RBIs in 4 of his last 6, and he's got extra base hits in 3 of his last 6. So he's kind of hot, and then he's got the best BVP on the slate, really. That's probably a play, yeah.
Walker's probably the popular play, right? I mean, so here's one. I mean, yes, you got the goalie. Goalie's a great spot, but I don't think you can pay 6.4. I'm not paying 6.4 for goalie when I got to pay for Max and Rodon, and Judge is hanging around. Guerrero's in play, of course. Free Freddy's, of course, in play against Lynch. What about? And I hate I've turned to like a BVP guy, and I was never a BVP guy, but so we talked about this last night too. Where Anthony Rizzo crushes Eovaldi.
Yeah, so I have that.
Lifetime.
I have that also. So he's 7 for 15, which is 467, 5 extra base hits, and 15 plate appearances off of Eovaldi, including 2 homers. He's got 4 homers in his last 6. He's got 8 RBIs in those 6 games. So he's kind of hot. I mean, he missed a few games. He's back. He hasn't done much since he's been back, but yeah, good BVP. And then I think he had a game or he had 4 games where he hit a home run in each game. So prior to the games that he missed or whatever. But I mean, yeah, he looks good for sure.
In Fenway, Eovaldi throws a whole arsenal of things: fastball, sliders. He throws a little bit of a cutter, throws a little bit of a splitter, a little bit of a sinker to lefties. But his number 1 pitch to lefties is a knuckle curve. And guess what? Rizzo, 409 WOBA, 39% hard contact, 356 ISO, 426 WOBA. Rizzo is going to be low owned, I think, tonight. And to me, one of the top plays on this slate in Fenway on a Friday night in Fenway.
Yeah, he's
so many plays here.
He's like 1% right now. I mean, again, this is early, but
right. And he's probably it's gonna be a walk.
You mentioned Goldschmidt. He's not even making our cheat sheet. That's how low owned he is right now.
Yeah, and he's so expensive. Of course, you also have that little bit of the Coors withdrawal, the Coors hangover. I guess not withdrawal, hangover. What about another name? I think maybe Brandon Belt, 3,200 against Wilson, another gas can. I think that's another way you can go. He's done the $900 cheaper than Walker. He should be hitting second. Wilson just cannot put people away. The Giants implied runs pushing up. I noticed that's rising up a little bit, getting close to 5. So I like Brandon Belt in that spot. And once you're going to get CJ Cron and Coors, they're my favorite guys. I said I'm not going to name all 26 first basemen, but I think Walker's to give me the chalky play. Abreu, you did talk me off him a little bit, but Abreu, you can't despite the smash spot he's in, the metrics all add up. And then Anthony Rizzo I think is a really good spot. That's my plays at first. Anybody?
Yeah. In terms of like BVP, I think there's one more. LeMahieu, they have him at first and third on DraftKings, right?
Yeah.
So he has some good BVP also.
First and second now. He's first and second now.
Oh, first and second. Okay.
Yeah.
So 15 for 42 off Uvalde, 357 average, 2 extra base hits, including 1 home run, and then he's got multiple hits in 2 of his previous 4 games. So he's got a little bit of BVP there too. So I mean, if you want to look at running a Yankee stack or something, that's probably a possibility. But yeah, that was it. I think we covered it. Me personally, probably going to run out Walker.
He's the
That'd be
cash play.
crazy.
And he's cheap enough where he can get some of these pitchers in. Second base now. To me, second base tomorrow is not really impressing me. Everybody knows my love affair now with Luis Renigro for the Angels, who just continues to crush the ball. I love the spot. I think he's like second and third base eligible, I believe. Renigro. But before we get into ownership and all that, I like him. And I think Christian Arroyo, 2K. When you want to get Max, you want to get Rodon in your main lineup, you roll out Christian Arroyo at 2K, total steal. He's got 10 hits his last 6 games. And German's allowing a 382 ISO 445 wool with the right-handed bats. Either German is pitching better. Christian Arroyo, I think, is in a great spot today. I'm going to play him over Rogo Door to be straight GBP play. But I like Arroyo. I don't think you have to pay up today, because if I do pay up, to me, Brendan Rodgers is totally crushing. And Coors again hit a bomb yesterday. I think Brendan Rodgers is one of my favorite plays, especially when Altuve is going up against a righty tomorrow. So when Ketel Marte is the same price as Rodgers, I'm wondering how he on Rodgers. What do you got?
I didn't have much BVP wise. There wasn't much there. I mean, there was some BVP for Marte and Rojas, but they didn't make my baseline really in terms of being hot right now. And then I usually I'm looking for BVP of guys that are hitting like 400 or something that really stands out. So they didn't really make it, but yeah, I mean, I agree with Arroyo. Like, I actually don't know why he's still 2K.
This is one of the players that DK doesn't mess with. There's always those couple players that they just stay at 2K. It's weird.
Yeah, he's still 2K. I have no idea why. Yeah, I mean, that's a free square, really.
You know who's got a decent history against Mad Max is John Segura over the years. And this has been going back years, but he got 12 for 33 lifetime. And we know Max will give up a bomb tomorrow. So looking at advanced metric wise, anything like that, is there anybody that really stands out tomorrow going on this season? This is why I don't love second base. There really isn't. Flores against a righty.
I will mention this guy, Vavra on Baltimore. He's been
he's second base eligible now, I see. I thought he was outfield.
I don't know. They have him at second, I guess.
I don't know why he's at second base.
We've been putting him in. I'm from Maryland, so I've seen him. We've had him at like cleanup. I don't know. He just every night he's getting some kind of crucial hit. So I don't know. They're starting to play him more min price. But I mean, still, you can't. I don't know how you don't play this Arroyo. Like, this is just.
But Vavra's a good pivot for GVPs. And remember, Vavra was raking in AAA. I got a slash here, 324, 435, 551 in AAA. When Mancini gone, Vavra stepping right in. So, not a bad call either. I still think you got to roll Arroyo in Fenway, especially the way he's been hitting. But there's no second baseman I have to have. Gleyber, not a bad spot. I mean, it's Kavan Biggio, all these guys. But Semien, Brandon Loud. Brandon Loud gets a righty, but Brandon Loud is also 5,300. And I'd rather go to Brendan Rodgers in Coors if I'm going to spend up like that. So second base to me is a pay down position. Yeah,
unless you're stacking Diamondbacks or something,
right.
And you can look at Marte.
Definitely. Then you're gonna roll out Marte. Yeah, who's guy does have decent BVP. Okay, third base. Get some stars here. I mean, Nato's crushing, but he's 6K. Devers, German. Devers probably at the end of the day, probably in the best spot. 305 ISO, 422 wool with 316 batting average. That's raking numbers. Yeah, he's had my top play. Miranda against Sandoval. Good spot. Miranda, nice 289 ISO. Or Matt Chapman. Chapman's a great spot. What's ownership telling us? Where's ownership pointing toward for cash games?
So ownership, it's Rojas, of course, and then Montero.
That's the name. I was Montero. We're talking about Montero 2.7. I did a whole research story on him yesterday, and this is the kid that came over in a Nato trade. So his hitting streak did get busted yesterday, but he's going to be playing every day now for the next 2 months. Even McMahon and Crone on the corners. Montero's going to play every day, also with the DH there. Great season he had in AAA in Albuquerque. He was in Hartford last year, a really good AA season. After missing 2 years. Montero is a good ball player, $2,700. I think he's in a really good spot, and I have no problem playing him tomorrow if we need the value for the pitchers. He's probably be my top value. And then there is the kid for Arizona, or is that at shortstop Arizona? There's the another minimum price kid. But we'll get to that in a second. But I like Montero, but Devers is probably the top play overall. If we're not worried about, if we're not worried about money, we just, the best play overall is probably Devers. But Ryan McMahon's finally hitting again.
Yeah, in terms of rank on the cheat sheet, it's liking Machado, it's liking Drury, and then McMahon fourth, then J-Ram, and then Montero. So I mean, I think you're pretty close. I mean, I don't see anything in terms of BVP or anything that really stands out, but
good matchup for McMahon too against Davies. He is a really good matchup.
Yeah, but I mean, he's 2K more than Montero, so do you really go there?
And what I know for McMahon, it's been every other game now, going back like 2 weeks, 20-0, 21-7, 25, then 14. So about, today. So Chapman's always in play. I'll probably end up rolling the kid, Montero. I said it because I've researched a lot of them. I think he's a great play. Is Ledmius Diaz third base eligible on DK? Because if he has, I guess I like Diaz. And I also like JD Davis going up against Bryce Wilson, 2,200 DK. And JD's, we all knew he could hit. Nice value, though. And Wilson is probably the worst pitcher in Pittsburgh. So I don't mind some JD Davis either. Even it is righty, but whatever. Ledmius Diaz for Houston is third base eligible on DK. Ledmius Diaz goes right on the radar every day. In 296 over his last 20 games, 254 ISO, 374 WOBA. These pretty damn good numbers for Ledmius Diaz at, what did I say, 3,500? So Machado is we have Machado over Devers.
Well, in terms of WOBA, Devers is number one.
Devers got great advanced metrics, yeah.
And then J-Ram. But yeah, in terms of overall rank for this slate, you have Machado as number one. Devers is further down, I guess. I guess because of the pitching matchup.
Another name I didn't mention, he's right up there too, is Alex Bregman, finally starting to hit. Bregman's been looking really well lately, so I'm glad to see that too. He really struggled most of the season. He's not back in those like 2018, 2019 numbers, and we're talking about Bregman, being MVP and all that. But 365 WOBA now on a season, and this Oler kid is a complete trash can too. We'll get into that with Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. So Bregman's in play. All right, shortstop. You know who I like a shortstop a lot? I like Kyle Seager a lot tonight. I think Seager's in a really good spot.
You keep saying tomorrow, but it's
tonight against George Kirby. Kirby did pitch well against him in the first game, but Seager's really good series against in Houston. Right-handed pitcher right now, 221 ISO, 9 homers. So Seager, I'm not paying it for Trey Turner. It was Perdomo. I'm not playing Perdomo for Arizona. I don't care if he's in Coors or not. He has no strength. Jose Iglesias is a stud. And Jose Iglesias at 3-2 FanDuel. I don't want my whole lineup being Rockies. or Coors, but a lot of people don't realize the season Jose Iglesias has having. Jose Iglesias has been totally. This kid's hitting 320 on the season, 390 over his last 20 games with 397 WOBA. You can't. I mean, 44 ribbies, 357 OBP. I like Jose Iglesias big time tonight, and he's even hitting just as well on the road. So
yeah,
Iglesias or Seager.
Just to piggyback on that, he has multiple hits in 3 straight games. Granted, they were all at Coors, but he had 3 hits game 1 against St. Louis, 2 hits game 2, and 2 hits game 3, and he had an RBI in each of those games.
He's totally for a Coors player, for a Rocky, totally flying on the radar too. Jose Iglesias, I think, this season, and he doesn't seem to get own that much. And I got a feeling you're going to see Perdomo, whatever his name, actually maybe even is what's Perdomo's projected ownership tonight?
Yeah, right now, again, this is very early, but he's at 11%, and Iglesias is 4th at 9.5%. So it has Turner at 14, Brandon Crawford, because he's been priced at 11.5, and then Perdomo, and then Iglesias.
Yeah, Iglesias, my guy, man. I used him in LA when he was, and this stat says it all now on the road, non-Coors, he's hitting 358, 282 at home. So it's not like Iglesias is only hitting in Coors, but he's actually hitting better on the road. 850 OPS on the road, 712 OPS at home. So imagine if he actually was hitting those numbers at home. We'd have an all-star here. But I like Iglesias a lot. I like Kyle Seager a lot. I mean, you can always like Trey Paul DeJong, I guess, against Lauer. DeJong, but DeJong is still like hit or miss, bomb or nothing, right? All extra base hits or nothing. Here's one. Way far too cheap is Bo Bichette 4,500 against Quantrill in Rogers Stadium. They're in Rogers Stadium, right? So Rogers Center.
Yeah, Toronto's at home.
Bichette's hitting 320 over the last week with 3 bombs, 280 over the last month. So once again, big slaves. We're gonna have a lot of names to go over. So I probably ranking them Iglesias, Seager, Bichette. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I really like Bichette. I mean, I as I said earlier, I do like the over in the Guardians and today's game, just because of the Quantrill trend. But also, Jace had a couple days off now. They've been hitting well. So yeah, Bichette's been on fire really. So I really like Bichette, but Crawford's also a good pun at 2K there.
Yep, and B. Cross on a hit too, and it's against a trash pitcher, so Brace Wilson is terrible. All right, at shortstop. So we like Iglesias, we like Bichette, and my man Seager. Now let's get to the outfield. To me, I'm still trying to get Rodon Scherzer in my lineup, but I think to me the outfield tonight, I got 3 studs. I'm not going to be able to get them all, and even 4. 3 studs. First of all is Yordong. Him and Tucker are in total smash spots. Now, once again, you got Oler against lefties. Oler 368 ISO, 427 WOBA allowed, but he's just as bad against righties. But 12% K rate, terrible. 50% fly ball rate, terrible. Giving up 40% hard contact. So you got Alvarez, one of the best left-handed hitters in the game, 379 ISO, 447 WOBA. Kyle Tucker, 220, 369. Tucker's probably the better value. He's only 4.4 and 3.5 on FanDuel. Tucker may be the way to go, but I think Yordong's the best overall play on the slate. Then I like Luis Robert. He's another one, because like Rizzo, like you said, he's cooled off a bit, so to keep his ownership down. But still, 437 WOBA against lefties. Norris the gas can, struggles against right-handed bats, 350 ISO, 395 WOBA. So Luis Robert up there. And I think this could be Juan Soto's coming out party tonight. He's on his back-to-back multi-hit games. Crushes righties, 286 ISO, 420 WOBA. And this kid Abbott for Washington, they keep calling him up, sending him back. This Abbott has been terrible, absolutely terrible against left-handed bats. 446, 473. So I know you can't get all those guys in, but they're my top payups. Robert, Tucker, Soto, and I haven't even mentioned Judge and Yordong Alvarez.
Yeah, and just to talk about Judge really quickly, we don't really need to talk about this, but he has good BVP versus Evaldi. So 344. He's got 3 extra base hits, including a home run off Evaldi. He homered in his previous game, which again, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got 2 home runs in his last 3 games. He's got an extra base hit in 3 of his last 4, and he has multiple hits in 6 of his last 11. So again, we don't really need to talk much about Judge. Obviously,
6,500. I'll play Judge every day. I still think you probably should, but you probably can't tonight. Outfield, the upper echelon, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts probably has the best advanced metrics of everybody now. Tonight against Daniel Lynch, 299, 425 with 327 batting average. Can't go wrong with him. Here's a sneaky play. I think $3,800. Mitch Haniger against Shores. 351 ISO on a season. 375 WOBA. Haniger hits righties. I think Haniger's a nice sneaky spot there, up there in that price range. But then you got Varsho, of course. Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon at the price.
I've been waiting for Haniger. I love Haniger. I'm kind of a Seattle fanboy. And yeah, I mean, their lineup is so crazy. But when they get everyone back and Haniger.
And they're coming back now, right? And Kalanick's back now.
Julio's supposed to be coming back. They got Kyle Lewis. It's just crazy to be in their lineup. But yeah, I've been waiting to play some Haniger. In terms of rank, I think you were pretty spot on. So Alvarez, we have him as the number 1 overall play, and then Soto, and then Tucker, and then Robert we have it at 4th in terms of like the top plays. Yep. And then
I could play Tucker and Alvarez together if
your boy Betts is here as well. So in terms of ownership, it's Varsho first, 90%, Alec Thomas, 18%, and then Blackmon, and then Soto, and then McCarthy, and then Alvarez. So Alvarez and Tucker.
I like McCarthy. I'm a McCarthy guy. How about Alex Verdugo, who's now sub 3K on DK?
He's
actually cheaper.
He's been at 2,800 for I don't know what they're doing, man. Him and Arroyo, like it's crazy.
And he's actually cheaper on DK than FanDuel now, and Verdugo's been in cleanup. If you got Vegas, we're expecting offense in this game, of course. I could see 2-3 hits out of Verdugo tonight. 2 or 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. This could turn into us. Even though I do like Germán for GBPs, I could roll out Verdugo. I might even feel safer than him, maybe because some of these snakes and cores. I don't know. Outfield is absolutely loaded tonight. And I said you can't play. You got to pick like one guy you like. You can't go wrong on most of them. But then we got to make our value pick. And all these Giants are cheap down there. Louis Gonzalez, Lamont. I'm a Lamont Wade guy. He's cheap.
Yastrzemski is pretty cheap also.
Yeah, 2.8 for Yaz.
And then I was gonna talk about the last BVP I had outside of Judge was Varsho. So he's 5 for 11 for Senzatella, 455 average, 3 RBIs yesterday, 2 extra base hits off Senzatella, and 4 extra base hits in his last 7 games, including 2 home runs. So he's pretty hot, and then it's a good spot. And obviously it's at Coors. So.
Is Varsho still catcher eligible? Now he's only outfield.
Outfield, yeah.
Okay. Actually, we're not even mentioning guys like Ohtani and stuff, but all right. So we gave plenty of names here. The value is going to come down to like the Alec Thomases, the McCarthys, guys like that. Plenty of names that we could go with. So, kind of just wrapping up. I'll give you a chance to come up with your home run call today, and then your top stacks. As I'm losing my breathing here, there's allergies. Kind of wrapping it up quickly. I want Rodon, Mad Max if I can in cash. If I can't, to me, I lean Mad Max just because it's Mad Max, but you can always go Rodon. and that's probably how I would go in FanDuel. If I want to go down a little bit cheaper at pitcher and just roll like a Mad Max Rodoni, a cheaper guy, I like JMO tonight, more of a GBP. I like Clevenger tonight. We talked about Louis Garcia we like, but he's a little bit kind of in that kind of higher echelon. And probably Tyron Molly might be one of my favorites is 8.5. But I do like JMO tonight. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's pitching to win here. First base, Abreu, great spot, but he's kind of cold. Goalie, too expensive. Christian Walker is probably the chalky play. And then there was one first baseman we were talking about. I can't remember who it was that we really liked. But Walker is Anthony Rizzo. I think Anthony Rizzo's in a smash spot. Second base, you can go pretty much anywhere. I like Brendan Rodgers, or you can go down to the cheapo. Arroyo is going to be somewhere in my lineup. Third base, you can go Montero as a real cheapo, or you got guys like Ryan McMahon, Machado, Devers in a great spot. And then shortstop, Bo Bichette, Seager. I'm not playing Perdermo, so Jose Iglesias, and we just named the outfielders. Okay, home run call. Who's your home run call tonight?
Well, just really quickly, I think you like Abreu too at first base.
Yeah, and that's the first one I mentioned. You kind of taught me off him a little bit because he's cold, but smash spot smashes all three of those pitches that Norris pitches, all three, 448 ISO, 412 ISO, 296 ISO, all three of his pitches, Abreu smashes. He's just a little bit cold, but Abreu so probably the top overall.
I mean, he's still not hitting when it matters. So, I mean, I
don't know. That does worry me. But Abreu's having to smash by the slate, I think. If you just, if you're not taking recency in control, just taking, advanced metrics, numbers, it's Abreu. Adam, I see you're on here. You can give us your home run call too. If anybody else that's on there.
I got Vlad. I'm going Vlad. He's so due. And Quantrell's not the greatest. They're back home. So that's my home run call.
Vlad, mine's going to be Rizzo. And I want to give another one, maybe a little bit cheaper if I can. I gave one out last night too. I can't remember who it was. You know who's actually in a good spot is Josh Naylor. We didn't mention Josh Naylor against Barrios. He's in a decent spot too at first base. Like I guess Rizzo will be my call. But then you can't go wrong with Yordong and those guys. Definitely. I can see Mitch Haniger losing one tonight too. As my sneaky little call.
Yeah, I love Mitch Haniger, and yeah, we didn't really talk much about that in terms of stacks, but
that's next. Give me your top stack.
Okay, you want to do that next? Okay.
Yeah, give me your stack. Well,
in terms of GPP, I mean,
you're a much better stacker than I am. So,
I like the Guardians in terms of GPP, just because of what I said earlier on the stream, where when Quantrell pitches, he actually gets the most run support in the league. So they're scoring 5, 6, 7 runs every time he pitches almost. So for that, I like the Guardians, and then I like the Jays as well. I'll stick with those two.
All right. I gotta say the White Sox because I love Abreu and Robert tonight. I gotta say the Astros because I love Tucker and Yordong, but somebody maybe like a little bit different. Maybe the Rangers against Kirby, maybe because I like Seager, Semien, and you never go wrong with the Giants. Yeah, so White Sox, Rangers, and maybe some Giants because they're so cheap. I love to play them. Yeah,
I mean they're really cheap. You can definitely make them work and get Max and Rodon, and then fill in with some Giants and some big bats maybe. But for me it's going to be, I would say GPP wise, which I think any team you're going to stack is going to be GPP tonight, really. But outside of Coors, but Guardians for me, Guardians or maybe split it with some Jays.
I like the Jays call a lot too. So Adam said Blade, but they're not on a slate. They're on the early. We're getting Miami on an early slate.
Yeah, Miami's 6:30.
I hate it. I like playing guys like Alcantara and stuff, and I like playing guys like Garrett Cooper and these guys. And you never play them. They're always in that stupid 640 game. I hate it. I don't understand why. I know why they used to do it during the season, early season, but for kids at school. But then they would, But all right. So I think that is it. We like I mentioned Seattle too. Mitch Haniger is going to be my home run call then. Haniger and Rizzo. So I guess that's it. Any last calls? I think we missed anything. We went over a lot. 13 games, a lot of games. This is pretty much you got to pick your spots here. Pick a couple teams you like. More to me, it's more of a GPP slate. I know it is to you too. Just 13 gamers. If not, guys like we can make a chalky lineup. We got the plays there: Christian Walker, Montero, Iglesias, Christian Arroyo, those kind of guys. So there's plenty of ways to go. But I think once again, make some good stacks, stack cores or get the hell off cores and go anti-cores and see what you do there. Remember, first game cores, they got them the cores hangover. You never know. Might have a 2-1 game. They're gonna be popular. It's cheap stinks. All right, that's it. Gervais, thank you. Really good show. We got a chance to show off our cheat sheet. Once again, anybody was watching and anybody's watching the rest of the day, check us out, yourfielderschoice.com. Right now, it's doing $25 a month. That includes all sports. So get in now before college football starts, NFL, and you get a chance to see that cheat sheet live. So I've been using that cheat sheet since like 2013 or 2014, and you're the architect behind it now. It's a really good document. I think it's one of the best around. It's all there. So we got a chance to show it to people today, and we'll be back next week doing the same thing. So we may be changing the time to show some more to like noonish. So we'll see, but we'll be back Monday.
Yes, sir. Noon is to fit me in. Just want to say that we still have our baseball promo running, but we're going to do something a little bit different for football season. So college football,
right?
And NFL. We're going to do something a little bit more discounted, I think, to start off the first month there.
There's a lot going on right now. So I mean, coming up, we had the EPL show that just went off. Adam and Rye. So check that out if you're any soccer guys.
And we're bringing some PrizePicks tools for both.
PrizePicks. You mentioned PrizePicks
and NFL. So we have some things in the pipeline.
There's a lot going on. Preseason football tonight. We'll have content on that. We all crushed last night on that. Hope we do it tonight. And then of course our flagship MLB. We'll be back tomorrow. Of course, the Saturday split slate, and then Sundays and normal Sundays crazy slates, and then back to Monday. So good luck, guys. Have a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in live, and please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit notifications, all that kind of stuff. And we're out of here. Deuces.